When you are so excited for a certain movie that like any other movie coming out is like, okay, but there's that one movie, your excitement level is 10 out of 10, that is all you're thinking about. Well, that was me 7 years ago in the summer of 2015 when Jurassic World came out. I mean, my favorite movie of all time is Jurassic Park. So when I heard they were making a new Jurassic Park movie and they was calling it Jurassic World, it's a whole new franchise, they're rebooting it. I mean, I was pretty excited, and when the movie came out, and I did my movie review back then, which you can go watch, which I don't recommend, I gave it like a great grade, but now I've gotten older, and I can see that this movie is not very great. Jurassic World, starring Chris Pratt and Bryce Dallas Howard, is about a new theme park built on the original site of Jurassic Park, creates a genetically modified hybrid dinosaur which escapes containment and goes on a killing spree. Now, back in the summer of 2015, I was obsessed to go see this movie. Like I said, my franchise is coming back, and I saw the movie like 4 times that summer, and everyone who I talked to went and saw that movie in theaters. I mean, dinosaurs were back! This movie was a hot market. It made $1.5 billion. It broke the opening weekend record at the time, and then 6 months later, Force Awakens just obliterated. But at that time, I was like, wow, people love this franchise. And watching the movie tonight, I can tell you this. The movie's really entertaining to watch. I mean, don't get me wrong. The movie looks really good. Its production design, its like budget is really good use. This is a big Universal summer blockbuster with no question, no doubt. That is what it is. But damn, man, the script, like, oh my Lanta, the characters are just not well written at all. Of course, let's start with our positives, and that is Colin Trevorrow. Now listen, I understand a lot of people talk about him doing the Star Wars movie and then he got fired and all that kind of stuff. I don't want to talk about that. The reason why he got the Star Wars job is because of Jurassic World. And for Jurassic World, he knows how to make a big budget movie, and I give him credit for that because he came from an indie movie and then he was like, all right, here's Jurassic World, and I was like, who is this guy? And when the movie came out, I was like, you know, he did a really good job with its big budget moments. He knows how to direct a big action scene. He knows how to get a crowd to cheer, and he does a good job with this material. Like, honestly, I give him humongous credit. Now, I think some of the more slower and character moments that could be really cool for the character, I don't think it's really his fault when it morally is a script, but I'm pretty sure he helped write the script, so yeah, it's a little bit his fault. But again, he brought the big budget summer blockbuster. He knew how to do that, and that's really hard to do. And a lot of people are like, was point direct shoot? No, you have to like a bunch of prosthetics, you got CGI, you have a humongous set, you have hundreds of people behind you, the camera. It is hard to do a big summer blockbuster, and he did a heck of a job for like his second movie, I'm pretty sure. And of course, it helps when you have mega stars, because this was right after Guardians, and you had Chris Pratt as Owen in this movie, which I'm going to say right now, I love me some Chris Pratt. But man, oh man, this movie just had to make him a badass. Like, oh yeah, he's a badass, because you know why? Because he's a badass. He doesn't have a really deep character. I'm not asking for like, I want to see his backstory, his childhood. No, just do what Jurassic Park did. Jeff Goldblum, awesome character. Gave him character traits, a smart person. But guess what? He gets hurt halfway through the movie, but he's still cool. Chris Pratt, this entire movie, I mean, I don't even think he has a scratch on him by the very end of this movie. I'm like, because he's a superstar. Same thing with Bryce Dallas Howard, which, when you first meet her character, oh my Lanta, like, she's literally explaining the plot. Like, dinosaurs are so last year. Let's bring in the Indominus Rex, which is really cool idea, and I understand during the time they're like, hey, we've had 3 Jurassic Park movies, we've had T-Rex, Spinosaurus, let's make a hybrid. And you know what? I like the idea, but it treats it such like a bigger, better. But truly, everyone loved the T-Rex, and that is why at the very end of this movie, they were like, hey, let's give them what they want. And that's what I really enjoy about this movie, because it gives you what you want as a fan of Jurassic Park. Now, sometimes they might be a little bit nostalgia and be like, hey, we're gonna go back to the original center, and like, hey, look, there's the main theme playing, and look, there's the raptor picture on the wall and stuff. Oh, look, there's the goggles. Throughout this entire movie, especially with Joe Johnston's character, who's like a big fan of Jurassic Park, and he makes fun of Jurassic World, the movie completely beats on your head. Hey, we love Jurassic Park, and that's why you're in this theater watching Jurassic World. And at that time period, I loved it. I'm pretty sure in my review back then, I was like, I love the throwbacks they did. Well, little me, they do a little bit too much. I understand a little nod. There's nothing wrong with nods. But when you're fully nodding at the screen at every single chance you get, it gets really annoying. Let me jump back in my positives and talk about one scene I really do like, and that is, of course, the Indominus Rex escape scene. I think this scene is really well handled with music, sound design, sound mixing. I like how the Indominus escapes, how they're in the pen and they're like, oh, it can camouflage, and it's like completely, its tracker is gone, and then comes back on, and it's like, it's in there with them, and they escape, but the Indominus Rex escapes with Chris Pratt, and I love the scene where he eats the guy, and the Indominus Rex gets right next to that car. Hearing those sound effects, seeing the CGI mix in with Chris Pratt being a live person, it's really, really well handled, and I enjoy the hell out of it because it's intense. It's really, really intense. And like I've always said, Jurassic Park is a semi-horror movie, and this movie barely, I mean, honestly, I won't even say barely. There's just intense scenes, but like, there are no horrific scenes of like pure fear. Not at all, because this is my biggest criticism, and a lot of people are going to be like, what? I love all of them, and I understand. Growing up, raptors were fucking scary, okay? They were really scary to me. And in this movie, they kind of make them scary when they chase them in the paramedic car, which I enjoy. But we have Blue, who's a good raptor, and Chris Pratt trains him, and he's all the famous scene of him standing there putting his hands up, which when I went to Universal last year, that is what they did, and I'm like, I understand, because it's a very famous pose, I guess, and they made the raptors good/pets, and that's how they treat them nowadays, and that's how the media sees them, that's how little kids see them, and I'm just like, you know, there was a scene in 1993 with a raptor in a kitchen, and it was nightmare fuel for me. So seeing it today, it does make me sad to see the raptors turn good, but I get it. Merchandise, sales, kids, family, cuteness, I get it. And I like Blue. It's a cool idea. But I'm sorry, I'm an old hag, and I really like my raptors being scary. But obviously, let's cut to the end. Let's get to the big ending. Okay, the T-Rex. We all knew was coming, even though Bryce Dallas Howard can run away from a T-Rex in high heels. And when this movie came out, and I saw those trailers of her holding a flare, I knew it. I knew they were bringing the T-Rex, and I do love the scene of the T-Rex bursting through, killing the bones of the Spinosaurus, which is a that's a good nod. Perfect example. That is a good nod. I do not need them going to the old Jurassic Park place and sitting there and be like, oh, look at all this cool stuff. They go there and get a car that's like 30 years old and they rebuild it. I'm sorry, I'm going on a hinge. So let's go back to the goodness. Yeah, T-Rex attacking, killing the Indominus Rex, and the freaking Monosaurus jumping out of the water and snapping its neck and ripping in the water. I remember seeing that in theaters for the first time, and everyone cheered because it was awesome. And I love the ending when the T-Rex attacks them. And I'm like, yes! And then the T-Rex nods and walks away. I'm like, please come back. Overall, Jurassic World is a very fun movie to watch, especially when it came out in theaters. It was a great crowd pleaser, dinosaur fun, extravaganza. I totally messed up that word, but you get my point. But my biggest criticism is the script and the dialogue and these characters. Like, I like Chris Pratt. I like Bryce Dallas Howard. I like seeing them. And I truly think in Fallen Kingdom, they are better characters in that movie, which we'll talk about next month. I think they're better characters in that movie. This movie, they feel too cool. This movie feels too cool. There's no characters I love and I want to root for so hard. I like Chris Pratt. He's a cool dude. I like watching him. He's funny, but like, stop making him a badass. Just let him be a badass. Let him be a character. Let Bryce Dallas Howard become a character. Let these characters be characters. Everyone feels like they're reading off a script, and that feels like at times that they're just kind of standing around saying, oh, there's a dinosaur, oh no, run away. There's no fear for these characters, and that's the saddest thing possible. When you have no fear in the character, there's no stakes, then you lost me. That's like the biggest thing I can say for this movie. But again, it's watchable as hell. It's really nice to look at. I'm really excited to actually buy the 4K next month to watch on 4K. But besides that, it's a fun time and it's kind of a forgettable movie. I will give Jurassic World a C+. There are days I think this movie is worse than JP3, and I know what you're thinking, are you kidding me? Which, yeah, I'm sorry. But next month we will talk about my least favorite movie of the entire franchise, which will be Fallen Kingdom. So we have a lot to say next month. And then in June, we get that 2.5 hour, hopefully awesome, epic conclusion of Jurassic World Dominion. I've been loving doing these series. I love talking Jurassic Park again. So anyway, guys, enjoyed this movie review, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye-bye, everyone.